Hi, my name is Upinder Singh Saran and my student ID is AC30203, and today I am going to discuss about the impact of COVID-19 on the Australian economy. In my individual assignment I did for the economics, and we will do it in a two different parts. First one is the microeconomics and second one is the macroeconomics. So in the microeconomics we will talk about the demand and supply and the prices and the levels. In the macro we will talk about the unemployment, GDP, the monetary and the fiscal policy. So let's start with the microeconomics analysis with the help of the PowerPoint slides I have made. So we will start with the microeconomic analysis. Here we talk about how the COVID-19 have impacted on the Australian economy with the increased rate of unemployment, and this outbreak has not only affected uh, the uh, small industries but even the large industries. Moreover, it has affected the overall economy of the at the global level in almost all segments, and the developing economies have are facing it like it's the worst condition of the developing economies, but even the developed economies are also facing it in a really bad scenario because of the loss of jobs and the shutdowns of manufacturers and manufacturing units. Further, we will talk about the demand and supply thing, the determinants of market demand. So here we can say that it is the highest power is possessed by the customers in the market. If the customer is willing to spend money in the market, that businessmen do not need to produce the manufacture more and more services and products. The main principle of these determinants of market are the economic principle of demand and the principle of supply. So in the principle of demand, how it has impacted the economy, we can relate it with the Australian economy is like we will talk about how it has done it is the customers because of this COVID-19 has have been impacted because of the loss of jobs. They have not they have no income, but the prices are also high because of the less supply. So it's a really big conflict on both the demand and supply thing. The price, the demand is high, but demand is high of the products, the food and all, but the customers cannot buy it because of the loss of the jobs they have uh, like uh, they went through in this pandemic. And secondly, we will talk about the principle of supply. Because of this pandemic, what happened is the supply is also high because people want healthy and fresh food because of this thing, because it can come from anywhere. So the manufacturers are supplying more and more, which uh, which resulted in increase in supply. So further we will talk about the um, just a moment about the prices and levels. So the unstable price. So there are mainly two types of factors that can impact the size of changes in the price name as the amount of the shift and elasticity of supply and demand. For example, a large shift in supply curve can leave a relatively small impact on price if the corresponding demand curve is elastic. Further, if we talk about the price level, the some long-term forces also affect the same over time. One, the main force contributing to shift in supply is technology. Technology and e-commerce have enabled all products and services online, which impacts the overall supply and supply chain management in the economy. So further, we go on the industry description and market structure. COVID-19 has impacted all types of industries around the world as well as the Australian economy. The food retail market is one of the highly affected sectors. The customers are becoming aware of fast food and other products impacting their health. And further, we talk about the externalities. This can be defined as the social cost incurred on the consumption or production of certain services and commodities. There are some situations also that can have a larger economic impact along with some externalities. These externalities can be negative or positive in the case of COVID 19. The impact of this pandemic can be different in the case of third parties other than the sellers involved in the fast food sector. So now we talk about the macroeconomics analysis, how it has affected the Australian economy. It has affected like the individual have lost their jobs, the small scale and the large scale business. The large scale has not been impacted much, but the small and the medium size businesses like the food business have been impacted a lot because of this shutdown and this lockdown, and the individual jobs have also been affected. So we will talk about it further. Um, so first we'll talk about the variables of macroeconomics environment, the unemployment GDP. So because of this lockdown, the COVID-19 pandemic, what happened is the as everything is shut down, there is a lot of unemployment going through. Like every third Australian has lost his job, and there have been like so much of like economic decrease in this year. Moreover, if we talk about the GDP, GDP is defined as the monetary measurement used to calculate the market value of all services and good manufacturing economy. So the COVID-19 have a major impact on this because all of the things like the manufacturing, the delivery thing, and everything is closed. Like everything has been shut down because of this pandemic. So there have been a loss in GDP because of that. Because no people are not manufacturing, they are not giving jobs to someone. Everyone has been losing the jobs because of the lack of funds from the owners of the business. So this all thing has been affected, and everything has been affected. So the main thing which went down of the Australian economy is the GDP of the Australian economy, because it is defined as the monetary measurement used to calculate the market value. So further we will talk about the fiscal policy and the monetary policy. The fiscal policy can be defined as the means used by the government to adjust its expense level and tax rate to influence and monitor its economy. It's a sister of the monetary policy in terms of economics. The objective of fiscal policy is to provide stability to the economic to maintain its expenses in long term. So the government can use its fiscal policy to help people, individuals, because they can, like they can, they can adjust its expense levels, and the tax rate to the individuals. As because of this pandemic, they can adjust the expense level in the long term to help the individuals. And further, we talk about the monetary policy. Monetary policy is related to the control of the money supply within the economy. The central bank is the regulatory authority in any economy and responsible to develop policies for economic growth. So, the main body for this monetary policy is the central banks. So, what the banks can do is they can give the money to the small businesses and the medium scale businesses to help them in this pandemic. Um, Further, we talk about um, the conclusion. I will come to the conclusion at the end. So it is concluded that the coronavirus put in shock the Australian economy, with the employees under unemployment. One in every three Australian, as I discussed before, was jobless in post-pandemic. Australia was already suffering from the economic crisis in the tourist sector and weak domestic demands, and the situation is worse in the current scenario. There will be upcoming demand, and where employment has grown in recent years, like healthcare and social assistance, professional, scientific, and technical services, education and training industry, and construction. According to the sources, the economy of Australia will struggle to recover by whole in a household and business sectors. There will be more unemployment job seeker in upcoming 2 years. It will permanently increase and 40% lift in the Commonwealth rent assistance. The government is also calling for tutoring and literacy numerous programs for the students who suffered the most from the disruptions to their normal school pattern during this pandemic. So this was the presentation of my assignment, and these were the key points I took from my assignment to show in the PowerPoint slide. And thank you for that. Thank you for listening to it.